go ahead and go down there. Should be good for that. Oh wow, that shit is full of shit. There's shit in here all the time. Friends of this looks like something good. Stuff a little bit. There's nothing very busy around here. So I gotta go to the washroom. Yeah, my feet really hurt from wearing these shoes. Pretty warm today, surprisingly warm. I thought I was gonna get cleaned. Noodles. Friends of Essex usually has some very good stuff. I like them. I like what they bring. It's very delicious. Very good. I kept some of that green soap that I bought. I threw away. And I left the bottle over there. Left the bottle over there at the strap because it was very big. Kept a little bottle of soap. Interesting late summer weather. For sure it's going to be cold.
I almost quit putting myself on me.
Yeah, a little bit crooked. It's a little bit, my eyesight's a little bit crooked right now. I'm skipping that box.
Eat outside.
Someone was saying that it's reverse racism to put black people in this Rings of Power series. Well, like I said, it's supposed to be a fantasy. You can make it whatever you want to make it, but the original doesn't have any. But the fact that the series does shows you why those GIF images continue to match. Because this hominid fuck is always sticking his nose into everything that is white, including the Rings of Power, or Lord of the Rings, or Tolkien, or the novels, or anything white. This hominid finds a way in, and once he's in, he stays in. That's why you have black people in, in Rings of Power. Yeah, the hobbits or whatever they are in there. Granted, they, more or less kept the elves white, as they should be. You do have some, black people in Rings of Power, and it's the reason why those GIF images match. The reason why you have black people in Rings of Power is the reason why those GIF images match. Because this hominid finds a way in, he gets in, and once he gets in, he stays in forever. Understand? Sure, the original doesn't have any black people. The Lord of the Rings doesn't have any black people. But the Rings of Power shows the desire to corrupt or to change something that originally did not have black people in it. Understand? It's the hominid. That's the drive. Understand? That's the drive behind the rings of power. The rings of power is the drive of the hominid to corrupt the original. Understand? And it's the reason why those gift images match. Because the drive to get into the rings of power and to stay into the rings of power, or the Lord of the Rings, or the Tolkien works, is a hominid desire. That's why those gift images match. Understand? Because if the hominid wants in, he will get in, and then he stays like an unwanted guest indefinitely. That's why those gift images match. It's another reason, yeah, why those gift images match. It's it's one of those things where you can see perversion of something that was original that didn't have black people. It's a perversion. It's a perverted view of someone else, yeah, who doesn't belong, got in, and once they get in, they kind of stay indefinitely. That's what the rings of power is. Understand? It's a perverted view that someone else has for the rings of power, or the Lord of the Rings. That's what it is. Understand? It's the reason why those gift images match. Yeah, that's another reason, one of many. One of many reasons why those gift images match. It shows you that there's a desire, a drive. They have an intention to get in, corrupt something, change it, and stay in indefinitely. That's why those gift images match. And it's a lesson learned, like I said. Hopefully, hopefully with the gifts that I made, it is a lesson learned that should show everybody what this fella is about. What are they about? Finding something where he didn't belong. Finding something, even if it's a novel that was purely fiction, based loosely on some reality. What is it? What makes this individual tick? What makes him tick? Finding something where he's not present, which is the Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. Finding something in which he isn't present, getting in, and then staying in indefinitely. That's what you see in the Rings of Power. That's why those gifts match. Understand? That's what makes him tick. Finding something where he's not present, just like Sauron would have. Finding something that doesn't have his face in it. That's why those gift images match. Finding something that doesn't have his face in it, getting in, and staying in indefinitely. That's what the Rings of Power is. Understand? It's very simple. It's a lesson to be learned, yeah? Hopefully from those gifts, it's a lesson to be learned. That's what makes him tick. Finding something where he doesn't belong, or finding something where his face is not in it, like the rings of the Lord of the Rings or the Tolkien works. Getting in, Rings of Power, which is the Rings of Power, and then staying in indefinitely. See? That's why those gift images match. He found something where his face was not in it. He saw it. If it's the novels or the original Lord of the Rings, he saw that his face was not in it, and immediately he put his face on it. Like money. He likes to have his face on money too, by the way. It's like currency. Hopefully the Friends of Essex has something nice. Friends of Essex should have something nice. Making a mural. Guys are going to be late for the queue. They're bringing cottage pie for us.
can't hear myself that as well. I knew you had that. That's what told me.
So they cornered off the full station. I gotta go over there and open their stuff. And then they'll get in the queue.
Se tuvo novio. Ya veré.
See, we're gonna queue early, guys. Granted, a lot of these runs are not gonna be in the queue because of what's going on here.
Just crowd. I don't tell me who you go with.
Muy caliente. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a little bit early.
Don't worry, Joe. Hey, actually, one part page. One part page. Hello. Guys are pretty. Oh, caralho. No, it's just a lot. You guys are
That's a beautiful bicycle, man. How many cc's on that? Fuck me. I've got a long way to go. It's for little people, isn't it? It's for little people, yeah.
friends of Essex coming out tonight?
What?
Which friends of Essex are they coming out tonight? I'm going to find out, thanks.
Yeah, they're coming up.
Sorry, adios, señorita. I'm a friend here, but a lot of language, mate. Just saying. Yeah. Why you never start nobody? Yeah. 你好，金牙你。That was a good one.
You have a red shade and you are saying blue.
You want to go in on the water row, Vatican station, after the row, and go back.
你好，你找到？你的刀，你要你的刀，你不是？你的刀，你的干嘛？请你丫丫，哦，我懂，这很细密啊。
The Papito, your mother, say over there.
No, voy a ver el teléfono. Este vengo, yo me pongo la parte de atrás. Tampoco se me va a ir. Aquí te pongo el polo. Sí, me voy a la parte de atrás. Como quiero estar aquí, la guardo, la guardo, se puede ir. Ya, pues voy a ver el teléfono. El teléfono, coño. Quiero cocaína. Cocaína, blanco, blanco. Cocaína. Cocaína, primo. Cocaína, capitán. Trae cocaína del Pablito. Ya, pues ya vengo. No me puedo meter cocaína. Ya vengo, voy a. Yo saque. Venga, cocaína. Hello. Ice cream, please. I want ice cream. You got any phone? Cigarette. Just ask me 5 minutes, please. You do. Not me. Not me, please.
I'm picking back the cigarettes.
Let's get over one star. Let's go down. Be nice. Be nice. We're not giving out here.
No, I'm going to go packs. You're going to fresh packs all over this room. 50 packs of
Be
cigarettes.
nice to people and give out. Look here.
Yeah,
Hello, lady. How are you? No good.
Young and beautiful.
You know what I did? 5 years ago. It's cold. Yeah? I used to go with ladies like this. Like, but they tell us that over. You know, today they were like, just to see, I show a few minutes. Hold on. I have to take one bottle of wine.
Let me try. Let me try. You too. This one.
I would like that.
Wow.
Without drinking,
You
no.
this one.
Without drinking, no.
No shoe. I think my sister's 700 and I shouldn't go buy a pack of cigarettes.
People don't like as well. Oh.
I respect you. I respect you. I'm not joking. I know why I'm saying that to you now.
Nice one, huh?
Keep cheap but nice. He's shocking. He's really shocking. Oh.
Oh! What do you like? £5, please. £5. And you got daily, daily. His shop is £5. His shop is £5. Match it to £10. The £20 weekly.
Oh, yeah, £50.
£5, please. Hey, when you roll up, more expensive again.
Lively.
Wait. What's wrong?
It took me 1 hour to get one roller. You know how embarrassing it is.
You're more than me, man. I didn't know. You're more than me. Did you get it? Hey, did you get that? The back here? No. I can fake it. I can fake it. He's coming later. We're fucking raining. I know, but I'll be back.
Ginger was finished at the end. Oh, today I'm going to the domingo. I don't have to go back. Good, I'm going to go there. Rajasthan, Melbourne.
Start to training streets again.
Again, after a long time. My wife I get the job before you.
I did this show. No, I know the head.
Who's the head? Call him for me. Tell him I have some people. Yeah, every next week.
Sometimes things are heavy.
How much are they paying? 8 times a job.
It's the same money. Because we have to start with agents.
Who's the agency? Who's the manager? Who's the two personal manager? Who's the team? No, you know the process. I've been there, you know.
I know the bosses from Korea. I was in the contract.
So how
I can call them and they say, oh, Charlie, send me this guy to live in Korea. I can call them and they send me. So they send me.
I come back, another 5 minutes. I need one. You never know. Tomorrow I have work. But what about your friend? You're going to the bus, show driver in the car. And my brother is coming in. There's a show. There's a show, that's it. Okay, my people. You won't take, I go. There's a show. Go.
But some drivers they don't know.
I don't need to go going to one. You didn't know, you don't know. I bring you, you guys ready to, okay? I bring you 5 minutes. You want to go to the mobile, I tell you. I come back here. Fucking too. I don't think I like. I just drink one. It's smart, man. Maybe go.
Wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yesterday I sent. Oh my God.
No. Now we have to say. One of them, I want to pop.
Everybody. I know you need to do it. Oh, caralho. Olha, Matetski. For me. Show your body. I don't care. Oh, caralho. Malboro. Now I won't buy Longo. You're gonna buy Longo. That is Russian. Not Russian. Ayo, thank you very much. We don't do Russia in this country. Just one. Here there's no Russia. We just one. One girl give me two. Sexy girl. It's fucking embarrassing. You have to move all around. You have to wait for somebody themselves. But you want to move back, yeah? Yeah, but this starts like cigarette. Cigarette is for man. Man that do this one. Just have to be I like your team. That's it. That is why.
This is exactly what I was saying to people about Scondi. I said that very day. That very day when you were singing with that guy. All the songs you know, I was just looking at you. Then I said, who is this guy? Not the talent, I'm not talking. That guy was singing. He was looking at you. See, all these guys knows everything. All the songs are singing. No, you are singing it. Standing together. And I really enjoy both of you. I enjoy both of you. That's it. I don't know if another group will come to that place. This book can Merci beaucoup. Ça va? Ça va? Oui. What can I say about you? I don't even know. I'm enjoying your company now. I'm very good. Officer, look at my back down yesterday. It's not mine, is it? Well done, people. Hey, look at this one here. What did you say yesterday? The Queen. Parking along the Buckingham Palace. You're in the back of me. Tell me. You have a right? Carry on. I can see.
Oh no, you know what? I'm just going around the back street. Keep looking forward. You've got a nice rest of the day. See ya.
Bless you, your family.
Oh, thank you so much.
You guys like to say that this is place is a wonderful place. That table we were there, that guy was singing. I was supposed to visit this guy.
Hello, Mama. How are you?
Go away. What is that? They all want to get down, but I love it. This is fun. He's a terrific expert. He's not here. He's young like cousin. This is very nice. It's nice. Nice to work and get people. It's a opportunity we have to enjoy. Who knows tomorrow? Nobody knows tomorrow. looks like the crew's moving a lot.
No, but you do.
Yes, yes. Really? Yes.
Hey, here, bro. Right on. You don't smoke tobacco. You don't smoke tobacco. You don't smoke alcohol. After 8 days, tell me I don't. 3 bucks don't ever have money in it. Okay, 8 days, give me 3 days. The boss told me he's going to give me do-rap on Monday. You know why I was giving me do-rap on Monday? Because I get paid on Friday. It's funny, isn't it? You fucked up your life. I'm back in Tango. I just give you back time right now. What the hell? Get back legitimate money. And on top grinding money, get it back. Like that. I'm with you. You were right there. I just hate that use face. He goes around. Because I hate it.
Vladimir Wall.
Bro, last time I read about I started rolling around in the Range Rover like this. You know what kind of fed it was? You don't understand what fucking master is. You live in the area. Bro, don't take one white. Bro, I'm looking for it. You don't come out of ours. Comes out of the moon, bro. You always do it. I'm always thinking of it. Me? For you? I will give you advice for you to buy it. Because you was going for 45 pounds. I got this on sale for 90 pounds. They got it up. I looked at it. My nigga, these are supposed to be for life. I only bought them to run around to work. You understand? Like, go work, come back, put them away. Like, they're supposed to be my trainers for running around. You understand? Because I bet where it was nice. When I got in the car, after I bought it, yes. And now look how many days. I thought you wanted to do it today. And now we're going to his level. You know the shit I went to get these fucking. They fucking annoying. And then enough to look fucking. It's so ugly.
You just understand?
Bro, you know what? I went to one place yesterday to get my hot tea and after I see it.
Fish nice.
This guy was just he just came to that day.
And they said,
He got there.
yes, it's actually nice.
There's that fish. You got to go for next time. Okay, then I go back to your side and see what's on Now when I go next to him, he starts to be like when they're fucking top, and he starts to laugh to him, like they're fucking he's so funny. holiday. I don't want to go through myself. Yes, you know, things that I would find back. Because I keep driving everything. But this year, it's a funny reason. Look, you just want to take, and you don't have to make money. You got 3 months to make what? 3 do. And then do. How can I do? So how can I go? Good enough. Only got 7 grand so far. We spend like a year. It has to start like more than 6 grand. 3 grand. That's okay. I'm guessing. That's my
Oh, where's my phone, fast lady?
I think I'm signed up for the gym. This is alright. I'll tell you where to go. Come follow me, everybody.
No one drink. And food? I'm sorry, food. Have you got a cigarette? I've got that. That's very nice. Me, I can, if it gets you pissed, it gets you pissed. Yeah, I've had a few of them, but the premium past. Greedy.
I'm ready now with everything.
I'm not being.
You're being stingy.
I bought enough food, so
You did. Alright, I love you.
where you from?
From everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Old food. I'm hanging.
Where you from? Yo,
How are you, boss? Got bag.
Dai cominci il problema, perché noi ci sembra modificare la legge, facciamo modificare tutte le leggi, non è giusto già. Ma come faccio questo
Yeah, not too bad. No. Come on, Nut. Come on this way. Come on. Go on.
Are you? I was waiting for you to like go.
Oh, yeah.
Right, my brother.
I don't know.
This one best, yeah?
Let's make it. Nice. Vegetable rice. Looks like vomit. Looks like vomit to me.
Sven.
Yes.
Ja, go ahead. Shit, cool.
I don't know. Not good.
No good. Let's go on there. Over the vegan shit.
Maybe have some water. They give
No
water.
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 No, no. Rice and the vegan shit.
Right, yeah, take it on the right, lads.
Tobacco.
No. What about
That's what yeah. Had a good day, man. Had a good day, Sibi.
What?
You had a good day? Sunshine. Me too.
What time did you come?
5, no, 6. 3. No, first one.
You can tell me.
No. 1 hour, 2 hours. No.
Listen. This is
Clock, yeah. I don't know what's going on.
What's that?
Good, very quickly here.
Someone speak please. Okay.
Yeah.
For flour?
Yeah. No, because we have got a bucket to, you know. Enjoy. Sometimes, you know, once you get over it, you know, okay, this one, next time, no more. Maybe poison. Maybe chemical. Maybe cavity. You know, this one bad one. Too much petrol. Back 1 second, I'll be back 1 second, come back. Yeah. Yeah, maybe You've seen what they've done? Don't think about it. Go on, no, don't think about it. Yeah, yes, yes. Yeah. Forward. And I need to just do much blah blah blah. He's good. You know, he's like, it's nice. Forward, man. Everything. Yeah, forward, everything.
Barry.
Big hero. Change your clothes. No, this one change. What do we do? Yeah. This one. These things you don't know. Go what is no one. I can. This is publication. Easy, this one. Yeah, just this was yeah. Safely. Yeah. Safely. Yes, easy. This one good. Funny. Yes. Yes. Yes, no problem. Maybe this one. This one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, yes. Yo. Yeah, yes, no fire. Yeah, yes. Okay, yeah. Notice. Yes. Yes, very, very calm. Hold on. Different size. This one. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, same order. No same. 40. Yes. It was hunting fishing. Yeah. Maybe. Yes,
Have a good evening, fella.
Wait. Hold on. Yeah. Same one. The second. Next one. Yeah, let's move. Yeah, hard work. Fresh air. You know this one. Yeah, This one people have this one. No quite. This what is this one, what is back? Smoke. Yes. Good man. What? No, it's good plan. What was? Chef. Din combo. Din combo. Vidrim. Pasta. What is that? You know, just too much makeup. Yes, it is not. You gotta put guys
I should exit and go into the street.
Yeah. Coffee, tea, later coffee.
Yeah, white coffee, 3 sugars.
Three. Thank you very much. No, Raymond, I bought you Leave one in my cup.
My nose is running from this fucking chickpeas and rice. I think.
Having to visit Stockton.
Yeah, this fucking bag is carrying up my shoulder. Just got water on that one. The fucking thing's bright as shit. Now, like I said before, they've been saying that, you know, this time you get to say that he's he's a hominid because they're loyal to white people. And like I said before, the reason why they talk so negatively about white people is because they're not loyal to white people or white countries, and they would much rather have the boot of the Chinese military on their fucking necks than be under a white guy. Understand? That's their number one fear. It's not necessarily that a greater power, like more numerous power, I should say, like the Chinese military might actually invade and put the house in order, because they're not going to go around with this Marxist bullshit anyway. Like I said, they don't entertain these ideas of woke assholes. And like I said before, their greatest fear is being under a white guy. Even the Chinese military would be better for them than a white guy. And this, this goes to show that they are not loyal to white people or white countries. And they've been saying this for the last 50 years. Repeatedly have been saying this for the last 50 years. Because white people, and especially white guys, are a big problem for them. They would much rather be under the boot of the Chinese military, which is the only greater power that's left, really, at the end of the day. Understand? Now, they said, this time you get to say that he's a hominid, because, he would be white. First of all, if this happened before, what did they steal last time? If this happened before, because they're saying this time you get to say that he's a hominid, what has this Prussian parasite stolen last time? If this happened, if this keeps happening every generation, and I'm the latest one, what was it that they stole last time? And from who? That's the question they should be asking to the Five Eyes and the Allies, is what has this hominid Prussian parasite stolen last time? If this is the second time, and this happens every generation, what is it that these Prussian fucking parasites steal every time? And what was the item that they stole last time? If this keeps happening, for whatever reason. Yeah, the question should be, what was the last item that they stole from the other individual that this happened to? That's the $1 million question. Because apparently, according to the Allies, this happens every fucking generation. I'm tired right now. So I gotta drop the whole tent of supplies. And I'm hungry. This fucking strap turned into a cord. Not overuse it. That's the card. Bright orange. I've seen a bright orange card before. Okay.
23.
And another thing that's been coming up is how the hell did you know he was dead? Because apparently there must be someone else. This place has been a source of ruin for every other country that was white, including the UK itself to some extent. That and it's been happening since at least the Roman times, when the Romans had this place under their control. Understand? This place right here has been a source of ruin for pretty much anybody white in any white countries, including even the countries that they themselves settled and colonized, since at least the Roman times. Understand? The way it's managed is managed completely at the expense of white people, if you haven't noticed. Now, this is especially true since the 60s, with their mass immigration acts that they signed into law simultaneously in all the Five Eyes countries. It has been a source of ruin for anybody white in any white countries, including even the ones that they themselves colonized and settled, including America. America is a perfect example of this. Kind of like eating itself alive. Yeah, eating itself alive with migrants and people who don't belong. This place right here has been a source of ruin for everybody else on the planet since the Roman times. Why? Because the Romans very much knew about the hominid. They were hominids themselves. Understand? This place right here has been a source of ruin for everybody else on the whole fucking planet, especially white people. And no one else since Roman times has been a source of ruin, except this place. CPs, should have probably not ate them. Would have been better off. Box of shorts. 7.5. I don't know, 7.5. That's for kids. Surprisingly, the apple is not poison. I am very fucking tired. Version of I'm fucking hungry right now. Yeah, I didn't say anything last week about friends of Essex not coming, so store and open some shit, and then go to sleep. This water's probably poison anyway.
loads of stuff.
Yeah, that apple was poisoned too. Probably the water as well. Might as well not drink it. Well, not cold, but definitely getting chilly out here. Maybe tomorrow's going to be cold. I'll go to bed. Yeah, this thing, I'm rubbing my head on this, my hair on this hoodie, and there's all kinds of black shit that comes off of it and ends up in my hair. Anyway, tomorrow, at the very least, the church is coming, and they're going to bring something. Church people. Kevin Feige is coming with the church, and they're going to bring something around 2 p.m. That's what they said. Because today, Friends of Essex did not show up, and they didn't say anything last time about not being here. Great stuff. Yeah, more money. Whatever the fuck we get to see that money, I don't know. What a curse it must be. What a curse it must be to have all the fucking money in the world, because that's the only thing they keep saying, more money. And I never see a penny. Let's go ahead and go. Grab these strangers, give me some money every now and then. Gotta love them. The fucking thing drained overnight to nothing. Meanwhile, left it at 40%. Fucking cold today. I mean, this morning, so maybe it's gonna get warm. So someone was saying that a lot of these woke multimillionaires are canceling tours and concerts. And the reason why is because they're involved with this bag, and the boss is fucking up badly right now. So it's the reason why they're canceling right now tours and concerts is because the boss who took on who decided to go through with the Hunger Games and the bag is as they tell me that they're fucking up pretty badly right now with this woke nonsense in the bag and what they did with their Hunger Games, which is still going on. Yesterday we got one meal of rice and chickpeas. Well, I'm excited, I got one meal. So you see, that's the reason why they're canceling tours and concerts. The bag. That's the reason why. Understand? The bag is the currency of the world, as I said. And it's the reason why they're canceling tours and concerts. It's not just the American side, it's the European side as well that's canceling tours and concerts. Like I said, the bag, at the moment, is the currency of the world. Yeah. Cold out here today, yeah, for sure.
I said, you do the pay.
Yeah, except for the cold today, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to go back to bed. Mind those lunches right downtown. You know, they're quite good. You know, like I said, you know, it's if you're canceling concerts and COVID is over. I mean, I thought they were supposed to cancel concerts and events and tours during COVID, not after it. So, like I said, if they're canceling concerts and tours after COVID, it's in, you know, they're anticipating some kind of backlash over the bag because they're involved. Yeah. If you notice too, it's always somebody that goes on tour around the world, like Formula One is a big source. You know, some of the drivers, like I think it's Charles Leclerc or something from France. Yeah, always comes up as a source. You see, it's the singers, the musicians, the bands and stuff that go on tour, like Formula One, that are more involved, allegedly, that's what they tell me, that have more of an involvement in this bag situation than anybody else, because they go on tour around the world. You see? Just like Formula One, there's always coming up as a big source of this crap. It should come as no surprise. Now, because going on tour, you know, if they're trafficking DNA, which seems to be what is happening, going on tour around the world is the perfect way to do it. See? Like I said about Formula One a few months ago. So it's definitely not a coincidence that they're canceling concerts and tours after COVID. You know, where there's no more COVID, right? And so the reason why is because we got something going on with the boss and the back. Naturally, if they cancel concerts after COVID, it should be very suspicious. Yeah, the reason why is because they're involved with the bag. They have something going on with the bag. Like I said, Rod Stewart, David Bowie, some of the old rock and roll bands that I don't remember the name of, or you know, the boomers back in the 60s or 70s that were doing rock and roll or some shit, who the fuck knows. They're involved in it as well, even though, you know, that's a generation ago. It's, like I said, the people that go on tour with the concerts, trafficking DNA or whatever the fuck they're doing, children, I don't fucking know. So pretty hungry, but luckily the church people are coming at 2 p.m. Yesterday the only thing I got was chickpeas and rice. Couldn't even eat it all because it's disgusting. So we're charging now, turn on. There we go. It's gonna drop down a little bit, but it's okay. I gotta charge the 23rd Avatar, wow. Those Avatars are also hominids, by the way. might be 8 feet, 8 feet tall or 7 feet in the movies, but that's the hominid as well. It's exactly like the Disney actress. Like I said, the more this progresses, they start to look more weird. Yeah, and as a result, they become more woke. Now that Disney actress, to me, the one that's supposed to be the Little Mermaid now, looks very, very weird. Looks like one of those avatars. Looks exactly like that, doesn't it? Yeah, and the more this progresses, the more weird they become. Understand? You obviously haven't seen how bad it can get in how bad it was during World War II with the Russian invasion of Germany or Eastern Europe. Because those, whatever orphaned orcs they had in the army looked really, really terrible and horrific. Understand? And that's where this is going. I mean, America is, nearly there. We got some ugly fucking people in there. This place is not far off. Understand? See, that looks exactly like the Little Mermaid actor they got playing Little Mermaid. The avatar up there. Like I said, the more this progresses, the more ugly they become. And the pinnacle of ugly are the troops that the Soviets used to invade Europe. They look exactly like orcs. Yeah? They look exactly like orcs. A bunch of ugly fucking orcs. And that's where this is going. You understand? Because this is what you need to understand, first and foremost. If you're not dealing with white people, you're dealing with ugly. Yeah? Granted, Asians, no offense, you all look the same. All Asians look the same. Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, whatever you have going on. They all more or less look the same now. Especially now. You might have some differences in Japan where they might be different. But Asians in general look the same. Africans too, more or less look the same. You understand? If you're not dealing with white people, you're dealing with ugly people. This is especially true of Ashkenazi Jews. They're ugly. Jews in general are ugly, yeah, because they're mixed. Yeah? It doesn't matter what your opinion is if you're woke by standards that have already been established from the beginning of time until now. If you're not dealing with white people, you're dealing with ugly people. Ugly duckling. Understand? And if you want to know where this anti-white rhetoric is going, it's going to keep going until people start to look like the Bolshevik army that invaded Europe. They were a bunch of orphaned orcs. You understand? That's why they were so ugly. It's whatever DNA they could scrap up and put together in a cow, and then within 12 years, 16 years, get a soldier out of it. Understand? It's the truth. If you're not dealing with white people, you're dealing with ugly. It's the way it is, the way it's going to be. It makes no difference to anybody how woke you are. Because the reality of the situation is that if you're not dealing with white people, your future is going to be those fucking orcs that invaded Europe from the Soviet Union. That's your fucking future. You understand? It makes no difference how woke you are, what race you are. That is your future right there. The orcs that invaded Europe from the Soviet Union. And you see, that Little Mermaid actress looks exactly like an avatar, doesn't it? Yeah, it's fucking weird. It is very, very weird, and that's exactly what you can expect as this anti-white rhetoric progresses. Yeah, that's exactly what you can expect to see on screen. It looks like one of those avatars, doesn't it? It does. Turn on telephony to get service. On this phone. I gotta check the laptop too. slept okay though, you know, I was tossing and turning all night long. I did sleep okay. So, still very hungry though, like I said. Hopefully the church people are coming through with some good chicken. Kevin Feige is coming through with some good chicken, as you say. You know, it's I gotta process this video from yesterday to now. Yeah. That way I process when I'm charging. You also need to understand, why is it that Tolkien had to be the author of The Lord of the Rings? You know, why is it that Tolkien, the individual, had to be the writer for Lord of the Rings? Do you think that it was Tolkien who invented the Lord of the Rings? You know, and this is obviously going to open up a can of worms for any fans, but Tolkien himself was a hominid as well, probably based on Churchill. You know, I regret to inform you that if you see this repeating itself over and over and over again, where they are the center of attention consecutively, repeatedly, and it's somebody that looks like Churchill, it's not a coincidence that he wrote The Lord of the Rings. Because that guy was Churchill too, very likely. Or Kevin Feige, very likely. Or any of the above, yeah? Tolkien himself was one of them, but he's the one that wrote the Lord of the Rings. Now, the question is, did he invent it? You know, was he the one that invented this idea of writing about the pagan past of Europe? Because that's what it is. That's what he wrote about. He wrote about the pagan aspect of Europe before Christianity, before the Romans, before Egypt, before anything. That's what it represents. It represents the pagan past of Europe. Now, do you think that it's a coincidence that someone that is related to Churchill wrote The Lord of the Rings? It's not a coincidence. You understand? Chances are he probably didn't even invent the idea. Tolkien himself was Churchill, or Kevin Feige, or whatever, any of the above. Understand? Even though he might have wrote The Lord of the Rings, it does not mean that he invented it. It means that possibly someone else wrote about it before. And they got him to put together a more cohesive story. Understand? Tolkien himself, I regret to inform before. I regret to tell this to all the Tolkien fans. Tolkien himself was Churchill or Kevin Feige, and he may or may not have written the story, and he may or may not have invented the story. Yeah? If you notice, they are the center of attention, which is another reason why those GIF images match. It's another reason why those GIF images match, because they are the center of attention every time. You understand? And him too. You know, he was one of them as well. And it is no coincidence that he wrote, as far as we know, The Lord of the Rings. But did he invent the narrative? Probably not. Probably was written about, you know, it was probably written about before. But like I said, they have to be the center of attention every time. So Tolkien had to write, allegedly wrote The Lord of the Rings. It's not a conspiracy theory that they are the center of attention every time, because that is essentially what is happening and why those GIF images match. They are the center of attention every time, no matter what the story is, no matter what the event is, no matter the circumstances, no matter what it is, if it's a book, a movie, a song, you know, if it's industry, whatever, Hollywood. They are the center of attention everywhere and every time. You understand? You have to be suspicious every time, because Tolkien probably didn't invent The Lord of the Rings. Maybe he wrote about it. Maybe he didn't even write it. Yeah? And you got to be suspicious every time, because every time it's one of them. You understand? You know, I'll give you another parallel to this. Solzhenitsyn is another fellow who wrote a lot about the Gulag, yeah? My mouth is watering because I ate poison yesterday with that apple. So they gave us apples and they were poison. Solzhenitsyn wrote a lot about the Gulag. Also one of them. But it had to be a Chinese fellow who wrote about the Gulag. Not a white fella. Even though whites in Eastern Europe and Russia suffered the most in the Soviet era, the purges, the Stalin purges, the Gulag, and more or less this purge was continuous from the 1920s up until 1954. Understand? This purge of white people in Europe continued from the 1920s up until 1954. It was a continuous war. Forget about World War I and World War II. It was a continuous war up until, from the 1920s up until 1954, when it suddenly died down. Yeah? And out of all the people that died in Eastern Europe and Russia that were white, they picked the Chinese fella to write about the Gulag. In the same way they picked the Churchill fella, Tolkien, to write about the Lord of the Rings. It's one of them. Yeah? There's no coincidence. And every time he's one of them, you gotta be suspicious, because they probably did not invent the story, and they probably didn't even write it. Just like Solzhenitsyn. Out of all the people that died in Eastern Europe and Russia, they had to pick a Russian Chinese guy to write about the Gulag, because there was no one left. Very similar, isn't it, to Solzhenitsyn? And it is very similar. Out of all the white people that died in Eastern Europe and Russia, they picked a Russian Chinese guy. Very suspicious. It should be. This has a lot to do with Freemasonry, military intelligence. Obviously, the military here was more or less unchanged since Worcester. Military intelligence, GCHQ. Yeah, more or less, the military here was unchanged, and this place was never really invaded by anybody either. That's what you need to realize. From the time of Worcester up to today, this place was never invaded. It's where the power is. If a place in Europe, which is very hard, by the way, to be any country in Europe that hasn't been invaded, if such a place exists in Europe, you should be very suspicious. Because Europe in general has always been invaded. And if there's a place left in Europe that has not been invaded, you should be very suspicious. And it's this place. And if it hasn't been invaded since Worcester, since the French or the Normans, you should be very suspicious, because that's where the power is. In the place where no one invaded is where the power is. It is this place. Hollywood said it, Congress said it, the NSA said it to some extent, even people here say it. Understand? Because this place has not changed at all since Worcester, which was 500 years ago. It is where the power is. And because the rest of Europe has been invaded, with the exception of this place is where the power is. Understand? Military intelligence. Military intelligence. This place invented communism, the Soviets, Solzhenitsyn, your Stalin, your Trotsky, your Lenin, etc., etc., etc. Military intelligence, Freemasonry. That's all you need to know. Understand? The place that hasn't been invaded since Worcester is where the power is. It's this place. The rest of Europe has been invaded, at least once, since Worcester. If it's the Nazis, the Bolsheviks, the Ottoman Empire, that invaded all the way to Vienna. So this place has remained untouched since Worcester up to today, hasn't been invaded once. You should be suspicious. You should be suspicious that it hasn't been invaded once since Worcester. Not even the Nazis could do it. Granted, it was, towards the end, controlled opposition, and it was obvious towards the end. Yeah, Dunkirk being a perfect example of this. That's where the power is. If the rest of Europe has been invaded, this place has not. This place has the power. Global influence, Freemasonry, military intelligence. This place invented all of it. Communism, apartheid, South Africa, apartheid in India and Pakistan, wherever you have the partition. Communism, the Soviets, Stalin, Lenin, Trotsky, etc. This place did it. Mao, this place did it. Understand? Because this place has not changed whatsoever since Worcester, and it hasn't been invaded once. Understand? It's where the power is. Everybody said it. Whoever controls the world island controls the world. Yeah? Whoever controls the world island controls the world. I gotta process this video because I've got nothing else. I'm pretty damn hungry. That apple was badly poisoned and salivating. I gotta go brush my teeth to clean it out. Fucking apple. My throat is itchy. My throat is sore from eating that fucking apple. Yeah, let's go ahead and process video.